Oh my goodness. I have been checking my mail and looking. Some of you who learned that I come from the other side of the world originally, and it's interesting because not only from another side of the world, but I was technically still born at the tail end of the of the USSR. And a lot of you were asking my my view on the situation was Mamdani winning the election in New York City. You know, that could be a whole separate video with some preparation, but it's so ironic. In a million years I could have not imagined that this is possible, because you must understand, when I was growing up, everyone in USSR was looking toward the, you know, toward US was a symbol of freedom, symbol of free speech, symbol of I don't know, everything amazing, everything beautiful. It was just I remember my father used to find a special station on the radio, and I forgot the name of it. По-моему, Radio Svoboda, I think. Yeah, it was a station on the radio that they did not allow for people to catch that radio, but my dad was an engineer, and so my dad was he figured out how to catch certain radio stations. And I remember how passionate he was about the West, about the real democracy. And now in the West, you call liberation and democracy, you call wokeness and communism liberation and democracy. I mean, I my mind is blown by this. I was kind of reserving to talk about this later, but my mind was absolutely blown. It was very obvious that that guy is going to win. That it's just, if you think about it, if you think about this, the guy who is the 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 Muslim guy who is also a communist. I mean, me personally, I don't have anything against any religion, but I think that the country should be probably represented by the official religion of the country. I don't I just think it's makes sense. Everybody else is doing it. You know, there is I mean, everybody else was doing it. That would be more correct. Yeah, I actually find a lot of fascinating things in all the religions. What I do not like is when people are extremists, when they force their religion, or when they come to another country and try to put their rules in there, because this is simply wrong. But anyway, I just think this is just so mind-blowing to me. I will have to think about it, how to even give you a perspective for somebody who survived the communist, you know. Well, I survived the very tail end of it, but I also survived the complete desert after that, because the new country wasn't built, the capitalism wasn't built, and the country was so poor because they've exhausted all the resources, you know. I just, you know, my father, I'm gonna talk about this. Welcome everyone. So my father was a very prominent engineer. He was a creator. He created innovations. He has a book at his home that is waiting for me, hopefully still will be there. He had 50 innovations. So my father innovated printing machines, and he's he was very much into journals and magazines. And this is very interesting because you know, I looked at my I have way too many beautiful coffee books, so I might have to give some away this Christmas, because Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with good calligraphy, you know, beautiful printing, beautiful quality of a book. For me, there is no, you know, no digital books ever. And I'm thinking that's probably because of him. But coming back to the topic, if my father was born here and not in USSR, because he was born in that his youth, his all his years he was living there, he was a subject of a lot of limitations. And if he was born in any other countries, he would probably have legacy and royalties and not some ridiculous tiny salary that that anywhere in the world. Yes, you can pass, you can be okay in your country, you can kind of, you know, make it through, but anywhere else in the world you would be rewarded for your excellence, for your achievements. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, people are so lazy, they don't want to have their own um you have possibility to build anything. You can have side hustles, you can create intellectual property, you can do so many things when you have a choice. So people just want to have these social guarantees. um One of my closest people here in US really explained me like this. He said, you know, it's like being in a classroom where there are kids that were studying and working on a subject, and some kids study a little bit, some did not study at all. And then in the end of it, the teacher, instead of giving A, who deserved it, B, who maybe work a bit less but also deserve it, and C and D and F, those who didn't even try, um, how fair it is when the teacher would just give C to everyone. Doesn't matter if you're brilliant and you studied and you know everything, you get in a C. And doesn't matter if you don't know anything and you should be really getting an F, but you're getting a C. That is what is communism and socialism in is. And I'm so mind blown. Please let me know, let me read some of your comments. I'm gonna make a dedicated video to this, since I'm qualified. I survived the communism. I'm just looking at this like, are you serious? My mind is blown, just absolutely blown. I actually cannot believe that I survived it. You know, honestly, I wouldn't say that we starved to death, but it was, everything was very, very, very limited, and it just was unfair because you could not, get rewarded for your achievements. You know, I grew up with 4 people in one room. That room is small. No, yes, it was 4 people in one room, and that room is, no, my whole apartment that I grew up in is smaller than my living room right now. So I could, yeah, I think my living room is actually bigger than the entire apartment, including living room, bathroom, bedroom, you know, everything. So it's just unbelievable. The thing is, we were very happy because we were children, and I don't necessarily think that my childhood was bad. I think my childhood was, for the most part, amazing, because I'm as the last generation, I think, that grew up without technology. Technology started to happen when I was already finishing high school. So yeah, we still grew up without technology. Here in US, you already had, just not well, not close, not comparable to what it is now, but we barely had anything. So that was a good part. There was, you know, friendships, connections, that was a good part. But I'm just thinking how much people, how held back they were, and how unfair it is that even if you're a brilliant doctor, you're a brilliant scientist, you are brilliant at anything, you cannot get a reward, you cannot get recognized. And yeah, I'm really, what do you guys think? So I can talk about my experience, but I want to ask you, what do you think will what do you think will happen with New York City? Do you think, I mean, I think it's already awful what was happening. I actually have a dream to see New York City, but I also like being alive, so there is a contradiction. Please tell me what is your prediction for New York City? Yes, hello. Okay, times for hello. Hey, Lance, welcome. Experience as a best teacher. Yes. CCGB saying, in the meantime, we all must pray, stay alert and aware. The infiltration and brainwashing of Islamic ideology may be the cause of civil war. Yeah, I hope I hope that Mamdani won't. Yeah, I hope that he won't actually allow the public prayer. Uh, that just would be nuts. That just would be nuts, man. It is a little bit concerning. I mean, it's actually okay. It's very concerning, and what blows my mind is that New York has the largest Jewish population. From a lot of it is from post USSR. You know, they a lot of them speak Russian, but they are, you know, they kind of like Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian Jewish, and they still there is a large number of them that's voted for him. I don't know. Do people just think, oh, he's a young guy? Maybe they think he's cute. I don't know. Please help me. New York will go down. Yes, that's what I'm hearing. New York will go down the same route as London. I am so crushed because I dream to see London too, you know, and it just crushes me that everybody says that it's things are. I mean, you can do anything, but you have to have all this security measures. All the productive people live in New York City, and a few rich holdouts, but once they leave, there will be no employers. So it's a collapse. Yeah, I think they're gonna suffer greatly because anybody with common sense would be hard to adjust to. This is already so bad. I can't imagine like it's getting worse. New York will become an entity on its own, a country within a country. Yeah. Free buses, hey. You know, people are already suffering with the crime on those, with atrocious crimes on those buses. Imagine they're gonna she gonna tax people to make free buses. Imagine what kind of thing is gonna be happening there. Anyway, I am just mind blown that this is a reality. Somebody pinch me, please. Can you pinch me through the screen? Is this really a reality? It's so surreal. I was living in a, you know, in a different reality when I was a child, a teenager, when I was coming of age. Like I feel sometimes from a different universe. Well, because it was still the aftermath from the communist regime and ruling for 75 years, you know. It was interesting because there were good things, you know. It's really weird, but not that it's good, but one thing that it's not because of the, well, I don't know, because there was so little of I'm just in awe. Aaron, I'm just read your comments, so I'm sorry I froze for a second. I forgot what I was saying when I saw your what was I saying? Please tell me. I forgot. Aaron, do you know what communism is? Have you ever lived through it? Do you know what government control is? Well, you live in California, so you somewhat know. When you are controlled and forced to do things. Yeah, bless your heart, Aaron. Why do you think he will do a good job? Just because he's young and energetic? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know what? I have to say, he has certain charisma. He has certain look. He's not a bad speaker, but I'm just I already survived it once. I've already survived it once. People just don't know what they're talking about. There is no free cheese. Everybody, in order to get things, you really have to, there are many ways how you can do things, which is a beautiful thing about it, about our time right now, is that there is many ways how you can do things and achieve things. In communist time, when I was again, I'm a little bit too young, but I caught the very tail of it. For example, when you try to do business or entrepreneurship, um, that's like felony. You can go, you can get charged and go to jail for selling clothes. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting where that energy is gonna go, Aaron. We shall see. We shall see. I'm not as optimistic as you, I must say, and I really wanted to visit. We are having some plans here, some events. I really wanted to visit New York City, but I don't know. I do have an amazing friend who is now in US. I mean, I'm sorry, is now in my state, who knows the city very well. I just wanted to make a signature trip with for some family time. But yeah, I just, Aaron, to be honest, I just don't know how you can even say this, because you live near a city that used to be so beautiful, that is so stunning, but it's absolutely ruined by the whoever runs it. It's absolutely ruined. I've never been more scared in my life than I was scared in San Francisco. I can put I grew up in communist country, but I've never feared for my life more than I decided to take a walk downtown when we went to this one event. I decided to walk to the hotel, and I literally saw that me and my son are gonna to get somebody gonna cut our throats. I'm telling you, it was so freaking scary. This is not the past. And one of the reasons why I usually come to Florida and not California, because I feel a lot safer in Florida. The conservative ruling over democratic, and democratic is becoming very socialist, very communist. I'm telling you, like, my son and I, when we were running the streets, we were running. So we had an event downtown. We were running to our hotel. My heart was jumping because I was looking like this, diamonds first, because I love dressing up. And we actually had company. And a friend of mine offered us a ride. And I said, I want to walk. It's so beautiful. But the moment we passed the beautiful city hall, I felt like I was in hell. I thought that I'm seeing hell, because there were people on the streets looking crazy. They were doing drugs. I can't even say what they were doing. They thought that street is a public bathroom. They were looking insane, and all this trash and all these people living in these things. This is wrong. I'm sure they would love to blame. People always love blaming somebody, but I just cannot stand people who do not take responsibility. If your city isn't this condition, it means that somebody isn't running it. And I don't know how different New York has been before Mamdani, but I have an idea. I have a feeling that it's not gonna get much better. Mark, hello. Hello, and I'm gonna read your comments. I'm done talking. I'm just in such a shock. What's funny? I was thinking, I knew that he is going to win. I knew because it was in the air that he's going to win, and I almost bet some money on it. But I'm like, you know what? I hate this so much. I mean, I despise going back in time and it's just so corrupt. So I just decided not to even touch it. Um, I'm glad, Mark. Hello. I'm glad in Florida and I'm glad I am in Florida and in the real estate business. Florida is estimating that 1 million New Yorkers will move South Florida. Yes, probably. I'm ready to make money of the New York City stupidity. Mark, remember we're friends, okay? When this happens, don't let me know if you have an assignment for me. In democracies, people get government they voted for and deserve. Yes, they say you get the government you deserve, but the thing is, not everybody voted for this guy. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just so mind blowing. So many people actually left USSR and went through all the struggle and all the pain to for what? To and people from Venezuela, people from some other Latin places, from the Eastern Bloc. It's just insanity. Why would you destroy things? Would you ever move out of the state you live in? If I don't think I don't know. It will depend, but I am very comfortable actually. I live in a very small conservative town, and we didn't have break-ins in like I don't know 43 years. Everybody is loaded and nobody is playing. But if you drive 30 miles toward the South Lansing, well, good luck, or to Detroit, good luck not getting shot there. So I prefer the conservative way, as I have always been. I feel safe in my home. I feel very, very safe where I live. Doesn't mean that I cannot change location, doesn't mean that my life cannot change, but there are many things I like, and safety is a first priority because I have family and that's important. Yeah, there is nothing free, my dear friends. You get rewards in life, you get gifts in life, but you also earn them. If you're talking about doing the work, like even I'm talking to you, you think it's free, but it's not, because if I don't pay for my internet, if I don't pay for this phone, if I'm subject to somebody else's will, I cannot do this life. So nothing really is free. There is always an exchange. North Korea, yes. Welcome to North Korea. Hello, Mark from England. Okay, let me read some comments, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Can you speak Turkish? I don't know. Can you? In democracies, yes, I've already read that. Make that money, Mark. Yes, yes. Remember your best friends, please. Remember. Put us on the list. Oh my goodness. And New Jersey governor is just as bad. Makes us be crazy sick. Yeah, good thing I don't have TV. But news still find you. I have lived in New York City. Hey, Aaron. Actually, Fort Lee, New Jersey, the Big Apple is a nice place. It's just outrageously expensive. I see. Okay. Alex, hello, welcome. Same with San Francisco. I used to be a beautiful city. Yeah, I know. San Francisco, I must say, by itself, if there was no homeless cities, if there was a nice, if that was nicely run, it's just a gorgeous city. Architecture, the bay, the views. I had the most wonderful time, but I was in shock from what's going on the streets. It's supposed to be a #1 country in the world. Why? Who is running that operation? That is the question. How can you run that and say it's somebody else's fault? One of the things I think is so important in this life is to be able to own things up and say, you know what, we actually suck at running this place. Look what we had done to it. But nobody really wants to admit. When my life falling apart, I don't usually blame my neighbor. I would love to, but I mean I can, but think about this. You know, we have the saying in Slavic like wisdom, fish rots from the head. Fish starting to rot from the head. So means that when certain things fall apart, usually it means that they are very poorly ran, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But you know that song, I'm back to USSR. You know, oh no, you back to USSR. You know how lucky you are. You know that's. I mean, I love Paul McCartney. I love the song, but I was listening to the Body Language Guy video on this, and I was just like, hearing them back to USSR is like such a PTSD to see it. It's just really terrible to see things falling apart and people becoming subjects to all these rules. I don't know, Aaron, if you're still here. Did you enjoy the COVID rules? Did you enjoy when people force you to get things, to get shots, to get injections? I was very lucky where I live. I barely wear that mask. I don't think I. They kind of gave up on me, and we are in a small conservative town, so at the store sometimes they would say something, but people just kind of gave up on me following these rules. Don't try to regulate my breath. If there is raining, worry about your umbrella. Don't think that if I have my umbrella, it would protect you from the rain. This is the control, which is so extremely scary to be in a power of people that you don't trust. Unfortunately, in Mexico, there is saying a fish dies by its mouth. Yeah, we say a fish dies by its head, which means whoever is whoever is in power. Anyways, in some places it's a warning, yeah, from cartel. Oh my gosh, yeah. Mexico, I've been to Mexico, I told you, for the first time. I loved it, but oh my goodness, how many problems, how many, it should be a thriving place. Everyone should be making a tons of money. People should be getting paid well. People at the hotel, when you pay $500 a night in the high season, should not be getting $20 a day. Yeah, it's corruption and communism go together. But the thing about communism is that I hope everybody understands that it doesn't last. It can't withstand itself. It collapses. It's it crashes. OMG, you lit the fire in heart tonight. I'm a bit older than probably most of you in this conversation, so life experience is worth much. Yes. Well, I don't know where I stand, because a lot of people watching, but because I caught the tail end of Soviet Union, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that. To control the way we are treated in schools, the way people beat the self-esteem out of us, the way I had one pair of shoes to wear in middle school. Like literally I had one pair of freaking shoes. And my parents, both of my parents are engineers. They are not floor sweepers. I have nothing against people who are cleaners, right? But both of my parents are extremely highly educated people. And I remember being 12 years old and looking at a girl she had bread, butter, and some kind of like summer sausage, some kind of smoked sausage. And I remember looking at her I remember I was 12. I remember it was before we moved. And I remember looking at her and I was thinking, how does her family have this kind of money? Imagine looking at somebody who has bread and butter and sausage, and thinking, how in the world? This is where I was becoming an entrepreneur. Because in my mind, even though entrepreneurship was illegal, but I just remember thinking, I want to know how her parents made this money so she can have bread and butter and sausage. So, like if you think about it, I never really I never really thought that I'm meant to be poor, or I never really thought much of it. I've always believed in something bigger, but I don't know. Also, being a child, you just have imagination. You imagine things, but thinking that bread and butter is a big achievement, is being rich. It's you literally rich. So yeah, tell me about it. Tell me how excited you are about this. Славянка, Славянка, привет. Yes. So yeah, who else is excited? Who else is excited? If you need survival tip for communism and socialism, I will charge you a small fee, but I'll give you a discount. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Experience worth something, right? All right, guys. I'm just. I don't know. I'm just lost. Spending less time complaining and more doing will be answer to whatever predicament I'm going to be in. I have no control over government. Don't want to be a part of it. It's not my doing. Yeah, I hope. I don't know if you're in the areas there, Michael, but I hope you will be well. I'm sorry I missed so many comments. He's past socialism and straight to commie. This is serious, people. There will be all the poor handful of all the poor and handful of leaders. Yeah, that's how it used to be. Yes. Uh-huh. It's my hopes that Mandana will do a good job, man. Aaron, I need your face, okay? I need your I just always wonder what you ground this on. What makes you feel this way? But I hope to be. I would love to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll send you some Ukrainian borscht in mail. Yeah, I just don't understand how the countries that's supposed to be top in the world becoming third world countries with a first world country prices for everything. It's insane. Mark Archer says not safe. Alex, I remember my high school years when we were not allowed calculators when taking math tests. Yes, of course not. I'm grateful for that because I can count in my mind. We also not allowed taking calculators, no. But that was good because you exercise your brain. Like the new hair color, thank you. Yeah, it's my fall. I know the light is brilliant, but it's my fall color. David, they want to put people in a box on assistant and be obedient. Yes, it's such a form of control. It sounds so good, but it's such a form of control. It's amazing that there are people. I'm sorry. It's amazing that there are people who actually think it's great. Yes. As I'm telling you, growing up in USSR, so my apartments that my mother and father had, it was free, right? But it was what, five of us inside of two tiny little rooms, plus an older lady. So it was a time when an older lady was living in one room, and five of us living in another room. So it's free, but is it worth it? Is it really worth it? That is the question. Aaron, thank you for a good wish. Mark, I don't know if you're still there, but Aaron just wished you to make $2 to $5 million from the people who moved to Florida. Okay. Don't forget, don't forget about friends. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the kind wish, Aaron. But people are definitely going to move. There is already tons of people in Florida from New York, it seemed to be, and from Michigan. My lovely friend who lives in Sarasota, she always meets people who either have two homes or moved from Michigan, or yeah, like, but New York is very prominent in people from New York are very prominent in Florida. Well, what can I say? What other uplifting ideas do we have? Anyway, my dear friends, I was just popping in for a moment. I have to go. I really appreciate the comments, the kind words. And I have a request to make an into-depth video. I will consider doing it, but I really, I really feel so traumatized. It's like almost I want to forget. Sometimes I have moments when I compare things that I was able to give my son and things that I lived through as a child. Even that Chernobyl catastrophe that I went through as a child. I'm surprised I look the way I look. I don't know, it must be a mystery because the Chernobyl exploded when I was only 3.5 years old. 3.5 or 4.5. Somewhere there. And yeah, nobody told us anything. And they only got a permission to build something so dangerous close to the many million people city, because of the Communist Party had approved that. And so when Chernobyl blew, I was just, my father, they lied about everything. My father came from work with this device, and I was playing outside in a sand, and he came to me. He had this thingy, Geiger, счетчик Geiger, and he came and measured. I shared about this before. He measured, and the device was ringing way beyond the radiation I was playing in as a 3.5-year-old child. It was going. It was going. There was not enough of these of the measuring. It was ringing, and this is where we got evacuated. They evacuated us. Not they. My mom and my father figured out that they should evacuate us immediately. My sister was just born. She was 4 days old. Yeah, I think I was 4.5 years old. And so my mom immediately took me. I mean, not immediately, but we got the dose of radiation. It's crazy. When you have all that control, we do have an ongoing joke about the radiation, that it could be a hidden secret to use. But you know what I mean, this is awful when you have that control over people. I don't want to be controlled. I really don't. If I'm an entrepreneur, I have days and sometimes months when I'm in the minus. I have those days. I have months and days when I'm in a plus and like over, and I can take care and think about. But I would rather have freedom than be a slave. What about you? I would rather find a way and do everything I can and create, and maybe um, learn more skills or try more things, do things that are legal to stay afloat, right? But I'm an entrepreneur. I don't really look at wages. I don't know any wages. I don't know what is what. I just always do my own thing. But I would rather have a lot less. I would rather then then they would give me just enough so I don't die. But they will give you just enough so you don't die, but you will never thrive. You will never thrive with a handout. It give you a crutch, like it give you something to stand on. You cannot die, but you cannot live either. You cannot live, you cannot thrive. Don't count on someone to give you things, because um, you will be a slave, a modern day in slavery. That's what it will be. And I think one of the reasons why I've never given up, with ups and downs, great moments, losses, gains, you know, so many things that happened through these years. If you watch me, you know that I'm telling you the truth. If I have a lot of people here who know me years back, because you don't, there is no option. There is no option to give up. You just keep going. When you know, you just keep going. That's all you do. You just keep going. You create, and now you have, you know, you have internet, you know, like right now I probably made 5 cents already talking to you. But you know, if you have some value, if you have that something that you would like to share, you know, if you have a skill, you can add your face to it and you can do it. You know, like there's so many things. I think when you have these crutches and limitations, it feels comfortable. You have this safety net that you think, but it cripples you. It's like you're gonna be 5 years old forever. You're gonna feel like you, because you can't exceed, you cannot strive, and if you happen to make something, you're gonna be taxed so badly that you won't be able to achieve what you were meant to achieve and create. So I don't know why people would want to be crippled. This is just beyond me. Why somebody want to be in a box? Why do you like so much to follow the ordinance? You know, when this is so interesting. I'm gonna talk about feminist movement and feminism in USSR. They were trying to take femininity out of us. They were trying to take that if you are home with your children, then you are like a leech. They were telling women that they are leeches if they are home with children. They were sending women to most harshest factories, the most harshest labor, but it never really stuck with our culture. This is just so interesting because it never really we it didn't work the way they want to take all the beautiful things, all the essential things, all the family things. They want to strip us from culture, from family. Well, families, they were keeping the family, but there was no God. You get prosecuted if you believe in God, if you try to open a business, if you have your own culture. They forced people from all the republic. This is why everybody speaks Russian, you know, Armenia, Georgia. I mean, it's great to speak language. Russian is my first language, even though I'm from Ukraine. It's just because everything needs to be unified, uniformed. And if you go to see life abroad, you know, life in USSR was so wonderful that if you go to see life abroad, if you were go, first of all, you will be officially called the betrayer of the motherland, which is concentration camp and death. And don't get me started on people who left and then tried to come back. It's just people. I remember all those songs like praising the USSR and saying it's the best country in the world. I still remember those songs because I was a child and we were chanting those songs. And I started to wonder one day, how do I know that this is the best country in the world if I've never seen any other country? So it's basically a prison where, yes, you may not die if you stay obedient, but you not going to thrive either. Then they were not afraid of women. They were trying to kill a feminine essence. I don't know how much you know about things I teach. They were trying to kill. You know, you're not gonna look like this if you work in a factory. If you covered with paint, and you're not gonna raise your children right if you have to do those things. They were trying to. We have a very beautiful culture, very rich. They were trying to wipe the culture, make it all industrial, you know, all ugly. This must be video with slides so you can understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, my skin would be like sandpaper. And not to mention that it kills your soul. Women were not meant to work like men. I'm sorry. We are not nearly as tall as you are. We don't have that amount of testosterone. We are, in some ways, we are superior, but not in a way of arrogance. Women are closer to God because we give life, we give birth, we create magic. But if you put us in a factories and make us work where we losing our cycles, where we cannot get pregnant anymore, where we are exhausted and die by the age of 32, then what divinity we talk about? We have different gifts. Men and women have different physical abilities and different spiritual gifts. I really need to be on the road, but I'm just so passionate about this. You know, I would be already imprisoned for this conversation, you know. Women do hold a lot of power, but our power is different. I don't know I don't know how long you have been on my channel. Women's power, you know what women's power is? One of the women's power is something that we don't need to force into anybody. It's a simple present of the perfect God's creation. Yes. 1 second, guys. 1 second. I'm gonna go because I don't want to be late. As I told you, I try to never be late. So I will be seen. Somebody called me a babushka. Okay, I'll be babushka. Actually, I'll be babushka sooner than you can imagine. I'm gonna be grandma before you know it, and it's gonna be the happiest day of my life. Okay, so as long as I'm seen, I can talk for a few more minutes because I don't want to appear like I have not arrived. I just know this is Mother Earth, not Father Earth. Well, yes, because exactly, because a woman is a symbol of creation. We are creating life. Yes, but it doesn't mean that we should be working on the factories and painting and doing construction and operating heavy machinery. And this is what they were trying to do to women. They were trying to say that women are made for hard labor rather than nurturing and educating. They were afraid of education. They were very much afraid of rebellion, that people going to rebel, you know. That was one of the things. But you know, I welcome all opinions. I'm just I just cannot agree with that. But again, you know, they say the truth is born in the discussion, so everybody is welcome to contribute. I don't know if you can see. Do you see how beautiful it is? You see this? It's just so beautiful. We have this like raspberry pink red trees. It's so beautiful. I love it. Yes, please become a member. Consider supporting the streams of truth. I mean, become a subscriber. Yes, and a member as an option. I don't say it very often, actually. I was raised by my grandma and mom and stepmom. I appreciate women, yes, but this is what we were meant to be. We were meant to educate, nurture, love. They are all. It's a color. It's a pink, red, and raspberry mixed together. Don't mess with my colors, okay? So beautiful. Oh man. I think there is fire somewhere. Yeah, I'm on fire. I hope nobody is injured. Yeah, I think there is a fire somewhere. Hopefully everyone is okay. Hopefully everyone is alive, not hurt. Alex Patino, rebellions normally happen when people are starving. Exactly. When there is no food, that's the threshold. Once it's crossed, as far as people are willing to tolerate. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, I must say, we didn't starve like people starve in Africa, so we just had very, very limited supply of things, but we had good friends, and they had, because I'm a city girl, I was born in a city, and so in a big city at that. And so my neighbors, they had like babushkas, actual babushkas, in villages. And so my friend, she would always share food with me. They would share food with us. Everybody was sharing food, because if you have a country, like villages, then you can bring meat and potatoes and vegetables. And so we had good days, but we also, my mother, she baked a lot. She baked a lot because she knew how to bake, and it makes like a solid. That's why I'm addicted to bread. I'm trying not to eat bread right now here in US. I mean, very rare, very limited, because I just don't like what it does to my health. But when I was growing up, that was a way to survive, all the breading, baking things. So when you bake things, you make our pies are not, it's completely different than pies, what you call pies here. So okay, what time is it? I'm first. I was doing a live stream and I arrived first. That's your girl. Okay, we're gonna be wrapping up shortly. What country I'm from? I am originally from Kiev, Ukraine. Yeah, so I'm just like, when I look at people who live here, who have all the benefits of capitalism, all the freedom. Yes, I mean, freedom is relative. United States has a lot of problems with freedom, sadly and tragically, but I'm just like, you serious? You really think that you need the government to hold your hand, where you're gonna pay with everything that life has to offer? You really want to have the bare minimum, and no possibilities for your children? Look at Cuba. Look what happened to Cuba. That country should be thriving. That country should have amazing tourism, just all the amazing things. Look what happened to it. Look at Venezuela. Look at all the other Latin countries. What a mess it is. Yeah, I don't really know about freedom of speech in the United States, because of the things that happen into people that simply share ideas. I think the freedom of speech has been greatly attacked here. And I don't know, I feel there is such a, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it, I feel like this pussy culture that is like, don't say this, don't do this, like everybody is. This also reminds me, this democratic control, this wokeism, this bullshit concepts, this gender study, and it's like, what this stupidity, this stupid ideas that's not worth an eggshell. I don't know. Cry babies. Yes, it's like you have everything. I used to go thanks, David. I used to go to this gym, and I was working out. And you know, one of the reasons why I don't really like to go to the gyms, I don't know what it is, but people just don't leave me alone. They just find a reason to talk to me and ruin my life, ruin my day, ruin my focus. So anyway, I was working out, and all these guys would gather and try to talk to me, and they were so tall, and you know, their arms are so big and masculine, you know. And some of those guys were, all of them were liberal, but some of them were white, black, you know, maybe some foreign, I don't know, like all the communities. But I remember that particular tall, very handsome black man was big. I'm saying ethnicity for a reason. For a reason. His arms were, his like biceps were bigger and stronger than my thighs. You know, like, has this big arms, such a handsome guy, smart, appearance smart. And then he started to go in a victim mode about slavery, about oppression, about this. And he was maybe all of 30 years old. All of 30 years old. And I'm looking at him like, what oppression we talking about? Why he was talking about some reparations, some other. I'm just like, I was just thinking, you know, people come from different countries. People come with, I came to the United States with I think I have $300 and 2 suitcases. That's all I had. Well, I was coming to somebody. I had somebody waiting for me, so that's fair to say. I didn't just come into nowhere. Somebody was waiting for me, yes. Somebody very special was waiting for me. But I had to leave everything I had. My belongings, my apartment, which was that belonged to me. Everything I've ever had, I had to leave, you know. So, and you come, you don't really understand the rules. Your education means nothing. Your language, you might speak language, but you're not gonna be fluent. Like, you have to, you feel like you're 5 years old. You know, when I moved here from Ukraine, I literally felt like I'm probably yes, I felt like I was 5 years old because I couldn't go anywhere. I needed help. So you have advantage of being born here. Yes, slavery is a part of history. Yes, there was extreme unfairness, all these things. But why do you holding on to this when you can literally, you know, move this vehicle if you want to? Why people like to victimize themselves and cripple them in these little things? Yeah, he thought that like victim mode is gonna get him scores. I cannot, guys, you know, one thing for a man, never be a victim. There is nothing more awful than man with a victim mode. Oh, Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting the stream. Means a lot to me. With all the rant I went on, but it really comes from the bottom of my heart. In Mexico, we have a saying, La belleza cuesta. Roughly it translates, beauty has a price, so you will work hard to stay fit and beautiful. And dodge unwanted attention. Yes, exactly. Well, you know, that was so interesting because I remember that guy, he particularly was trying to create like connection with me, like, you know, I'm fighting against the system, like I am oppressed in this country, and you are from Ukraine, like we have something in common. I'm like, hell no. I don't think so. It took me many years to just to become something that you were born with. I don't care about your skin color, your ethnicity. I don't care if you were born in a poor neighborhood. If you were born, you were given, you have literal right. You are a citizen. You are born citizen. You know, half of my people that came from Ukraine right now, because of the actual war, they already figured out how to make money, how to open a business, how to get work. But they it's gonna take them years to get a document. I'm just gonna say it. It might take them years to get official document. It's gonna take them a decade and a half to become a citizen. So who is doing what? And they were able in 2 short years. My family member in 2 short years already have he doing 3 different things. By the way, I coached him, but he's doing better than me, I think, which I'm very, very happy about. So, like, why do you think that being a victim is kind of give you winning points? When you have a freedom, you know, you can create your own thing. You have a choice. Yes, if you have nothing to offer, if you have nothing to create, if you have nothing to work forward, if you have no discipline, yes, you will suffer, but you deserve it. Anyway, thank you so much, Alex. Alex, thank you so much for supporting the free speech. Thank you. Thank you. La Belleza Cuesta. I don't know if I'm reading this correct, but I'm gonna just read it. La Belleza Cuesta. La Belleza Cuesta. Beauty has a price. Yes, beauty does have a price. Actually, you know what? I think about it too. When you don't have any standards, you lose these gifts. You know, if you look around, a lot of people decided that it's too hard, you know, to maintain their mind and body and soul, and they give in into the blue hair culture. Belleza. Oh yes, right. LL, you don't read. Okay, belleza. Thank you. Yeah, so beauty has a price, and it's not only material, it's mental peace, and it's effort and focus. Yeah, so guys, you know, if you have issues with your career, with your work, with things that you're doing, please don't try to like connect with a woman. Especially don't try to tell about your troubles to somebody who survived the Holocaust, or survived the USSR, or survived the communist regime, who is an immigrant. You have to understand, when you're an immigrant, you come, you start like you were 5. Even if you're 25, 35, 45, 55, you start again from, you may possess some skills, you obviously do, but you start from zero. So you start from zero. But you know, I'm gonna say this last thing. I have never seen a person that came here from as an immigrant, none of my friends or environment, and they given up. I've never seen someone who came here and they given up, or they went on like government support more than for a short time. It's normal if you're running away from the war and you only have your backpack. You use couple months of food stamps so you don't die. I don't consider that weakness. I consider that actual survivor. But from all the tens and hundreds of people that I know, either personally or through somebody, or some of them, a lot of my friends and people that I associate with, a lot of them, they have some kind of they use you know, they also use social media, they use internet, they use on Etsy. You know that I have my shop on Etsy, and some of the best creators, some of the most talented creators I see, so many from Ukraine, from Russia, from post-USSR, and so many ladies you know, it's really funny. I have friends who are very successfully married, but they are still working. They are still working, you know, not because their husbands are not full providers, because they have PTSD from what happens to us in our childhood and youth. So this is why for me, no matter what my financial status will be, I will always be creating something. First of all, it's very satisfying to give something to people, because life is not just consuming. Life isn't just endless consuming of stuff. When you do things for people, you feel enriched. Even making these videos for you guys, I feel such great connections. I don't know, people have been giving me such wonderful feedback, so now I can't stop. But it doesn't matter what you do. Some people just take basic jobs just to feel like you're doing something. But most of my friends have some kind of creative jobs that they created themselves. When 10 years ago, they didn't even speak English. I have a friend who didn't speak any English 5 years ago, and now she's making 6-figure salary in Michigan by herself with a child. So when you tell somebody who had to be born again and start over that you're oppressed and the government and your parents, you just look like a fool. That's all. Godbrin is saying, I got 4 outfits a year to wear in school, same shoes. Started every day, and family was abusing drugs. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I turned out to be a nice person. Good for you. You know, like, the beautiful things, when you go through very big limitations, when you go through suffering as a child, I mean, it's not a beautiful thing, but the positive thing, you know what it is that you never take things for granted. You always appreciate it. Like, I don't have a single time when I shop for groceries, for example, and some things like this. Every single time I do that, I feel so happy that I can get something that I want. You never take things for granted, and it's the most amazing thing, because it makes you a grateful person, a fulfilled person. All these people, some in power that get free money. Like, let's look, I don't want to make this political, but look, some people like Hunter Biden, for example, people that just swimming in corruption, abusing drugs, have no sense of life, no purpose. They have some perversions. When you never, especially as a man, for women it's a little bit different, but especially as a man, if you never had to starve, if you never have to do something difficult, if you never had to do hard things, you probably gonna end up, if things were easy, the end is going to be hard. So it's a beautiful thing that, when you survive some limitations, you realize how much you really have. That's why I laugh, I laugh at people who telling those things, and just think that I've heard that I'm privileged. If I could count how many times I've heard that I was privileged, just because I didn't ruin my face and my body with tattoos and piercings, and I didn't turn into an evil blue-haired person. By evil, because I think it's destroying the beauty is evil. I'm sorry. This movement, I'm not talking about people who do it. I feel people who do it, they are just victims of it for the most part. But if you look together, doesn't matter if you have $5 in your pocket, people assume that people just gave you things, that you've never had to overcome anything, learn skills, survive, So it's just ridiculous. But especially, when I see men who are like twice as tall as I am and twice as wide on the shoulders, and they telling me about like some oppression. I'm sorry, guys. I'm here. When people tell you about like some oppression, it's beyond me, honestly. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. I'm wishing you a beautiful evening. And Alex, again, thank you for sponsoring the free speech. Wait. Нет, все есть. Everyone, thank you for your thoughtfulness, for your kind words, for being with me, and for sharing your experiences. I appreciate you on the channel, every single one of you, and I hope that we will grow and find the best topics. All right, thank you so much. Sandra, thanks so much for making me a couple extra dollars. I appreciate that. Your work shall not be forgotten. Your input shall not be forgotten. See you soon, my dear friends. Bye bye. Enjoy your night. And think about how blessed you really are. Bye. See you soon. Wait, it's not ending. It's not ending. Ah.